Hello again, everybody. It's Harry Box with the Technical Trader at techtrader.com. It is the 12th of October. It's Thursday. These are the charts of the day. Well, let's take a quick look at the indices because they're kind of important right now. If you take a look at what I'm looking at, you'll see that today's action showed a spike down, then a nice rally up, and a kind of a fast 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave down before the late bounce. But kind of critical, this support around 60, 60, 65 zone. On the S&P, that supports 25.48. We bounced sharply off of it. But when you look at the overall concept of everything, it was a worrisome day for me. I didn't like what I saw, but at the same time, look, long in the tooth. The NASDAQ 100 has gone from 58.40 to 60.90 some odd. So 150 points, 250 points straight up over the last few weeks. And the NASDAQ 100 has gone from, the S&P 500 has gone from what looks like 24.40 all the way up to 25.50 or 110 points. So substantial rallies in both indices. Until we take out 25.40 in the trend line, I'm not that worried about it. We could pull back, consolidate, and go higher. But it may be due for that because we've had a big run and now we're kind of moving sideways and getting a little sloppy in here. Still, if you maintain stops on individual stocks, just keep aware where support and resistance trend lines are. Should be fine. Let's take a look at some of the stocks long and short today that I want to cover. To start off with swing trade Aerojet General, which I gave you on the breakout in August, and the consolidation which ensued was a nice one. 26.7 range, it ran up to 36, 10 points, and now it's bull flagging. I'm looking for 40. I think we're going to get there, at least something close to it. 4.6 days to cover. A beautiful bull flag setup, I think. ARDX, well, that was a trade today. It came out of a base with a big breakaway gap on monster volume for this stock of 26 million. It didn't close great, but it did have a 44% gain in one day today, to $2.40. Now that was about 85 cents off the high. Nevertheless, when you get that kind of a move up from 5.25 up to 8.65, you're going to get some profit taking. Let's watch today's low for starters, 7.30, and see if that holds and whether it backs and fills for a day or two or three and pauses and then goes again. There's a big gap up here. One of the reasons why we backed off from the early high, I think, is that gap. But if it punches through 9, this could very well be 11 pretty quickly, and it may go to 13 or 14. With a start like that, it may very well accelerate over the next few days, so we need to keep a close tab on that one. BlackBerry, well, after the pop and pullback I gave you a swing on, I like the way it looks. This ascending coil, I think, is going to run to 12 3/4 short term. Once we get through that, I'm looking at a run up towards 14.5, my near-term targets. With 13.6 days to cover, it just feels like this is about to explode. CASI, what a move yesterday. Now today was a beautiful inside day. It did gain another 11% on 5,200,000. Yesterday's volume was just monstrous at 19 million nearly. But when you pop and break out of a 3-week flag and go vertical like that to the next target zone, you're bound to get some consolidation. Now it may be a week or two, it may be just a day or two, but we need to watch this one carefully, as if it gets above 5, it could run to 6, 7, or 8 pretty quickly. FPRX, after the long downtrend, it took this one from 60 down to mid-20s, based out in a nice base and broke out, flagged, popped, wedged, and today it ran again, broke out across resistance at my target around the 42 range. My next target would be a retest of this area up here near 49. That's my near-term target. 6.4 days to cover on that one. Swing trade Halozyme acting well today. It popped out of what looks like either a wedge or a flag. Let's call this, for me, I'm going to look at it this way and say it's flagging within a channel, or within a flag, a larger flag of sort. So here's the wedge that originally formed, and then it ran up to resistance from the flag. Today it popped out 4% or on 1.8 million. That's the biggest volume in about 2 weeks. And it closed right at that breakout point, so we may very well extend. Watch this one carefully the next day or two. We could see 1950, we could see 2150. This may take off, especially with 12.8 days to cover. And eventually, mid-20s is my call. Look at that long base. It's a beauty. And first breaking out. Intelstat. Well, it broke out of the base. I showed it to you last week. It paused for a couple days, extended. It looks like it might be near the top of the channel. It may need to back and fill and consolidate in that zone. But eventually, 8.5, 9, 10, all doable. 7.2 days to cover. Infi was the Infinity Pharmaceuticals, by far the star of the day. It opened, it popped. We told you pre-market it looked real good. Andre was all over this one too. Nice going guy. It went from 244 to 375, closed at 2 cents off the high. Absolutely stellar. Right near resistance, right near the declining tops line. Now, I'm not saying it's going to explode and go up to 6 or 7. That's possible. If it backs and fills for a couple, 3 days or a week, It shows us a nice flag without too much deterioration. Watch that one. But with today's volume of 61 million shares, unheard of for this stock, and taking out a long declining tops line, this could very well be on its way for high single digits at least. NVMI, swing trade NVMI broke out and closed right at, I believe this close here was 30.46 and today's close 30.40. So it's not the highest close ever by a few cents, but it looks like it's about to head towards 35 and then 39. Nice long-term chart, real good technicals. OLED, well, after it popped out following my swing trade recommendation, it took about 3 weeks to consolidate, but it held 50-day moving average and price support all along, right around that 123.5 zone. And today popped 440 to 134.60, not too far off the high. I think we're going to retest the high, take that out. That's 145, my next target. Then I'm looking for 160 and 180 eventually. This could be interesting. And by the way, there's 4.9 days to cover. Well, Spark Therapeutics was halted on positive drug news. After we gave you this on a breakout here in July, it just kept going in a rising channel, and today spiked. Now, after hours, it jumped to 92 and change, pulled back down towards 90, and it's right back up to 92 again. So it's up about 6 after hours. It wouldn't shock me if tomorrow they went through 92.5 and kept going into the mid, maybe high 90s. This is going to be interesting. 11.3 days to cover it in addition. Roca, well, big move today. 2 days ago was a big breakaway move on monster volume for this stock of 25.6 million. Now it pulled down on low volume. Today we're right back up there, 39 cents at 21.6%. It's a low price cheapie. The feeling is it's going to get up to 2 3/4, 3. Now once through that, you can see a lot, but will it back and fill and form a wedge or a flag in here? That's what you got to watch. Swing trade Sientra, acting very well. I love when it broke out and now has an ascending wedge. I'm thinking 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're going to see 20, 21 in the stock near term. Keep an eye on this one. With 8.2 days to cover, they can pop it. Square just keeps going. It's now been up for like 12 days in a row. Amazing. It has reached my initial target around 33. My next target is around 39.40. Look at the momentum and long-term chart on this one. If you recall, I originally gave this one to you around that 11 3/4 range right there, or when it broke out right there. I don't recall exactly what date, but anyway, you can see it's gone from 11-12 zone all the way up to 33. It's still looking really good. 3.5 days to cover that one. Well, believe it or not, I'm featuring Twitter tonight. That's right, not Snap, Twitter. It broke out of a wedge. It broke across the September high and poked to head up into the gap territory, which means it may want to try to fill it and get up to 19.25 as early as tomorrow. There's 19.25, 3/4 is your targets. And if it really runs 20 3/4, that would be real big at these multiple tops and the gap up here. Any move beyond that, and we're looking low to mid-20s. 5 days to cover. Well, Veronis also tagged the target today in the 44.5 range, jumping another 95 cents. This stock has now moved from when I first gave it to you here in the low 30s to the mid-40s, and I'm thinking, if I measure the channel correctly, it sure looks like a stock that wants to head towards 50. Voyager. Well, I've been showing you this for a couple of weeks. Phenomenal breakaway move. You see how sometimes they just go up in a rising channel and don't stop. It barely stepped back at all. Here it did it for a week in a wedge, but it broke right out and kept going. I'm looking for 29.30 before this is over, in my opinion. And finally, on the long side is Wi-Fi. Originally gave you Wi-Fi back in here in the 13 range. It's now 22. Yeah, it took several months, but bottom line is it's right up against resistance. And if we punch through here, we may get to 25 quicker than you think, with 2.7 days to cover. Some of the boxing shorts I want to cover today, let's take a look at them. Advanced Auto Parts broke that wedge, or showed that over last weekend. It's been down every day this week pretty much. Looks like it may be headed much lower. And my target now is going to be around 70. That's right. If it breaks to 83, I'm looking for 10, 12, 13 points. Dick's Sporting Goods continues to falter. And after running down from the 60s and forming a bear flag there and a falling channel there and another descending bear coil, it broke down yesterday and is following through. Near-term target, 21.5. Secondary target, 18, 19. Foot Locker, wow, it broke again. This looks so bad. I think it gets to the mid-20s. Genesco, ditto. Breaking a wedge, probably test 21, it may get into the high teens. Boxer short, Hawaiian Airlines, which broke down and then snapped back, got near the moving average, and what I think is a parallel channel right there, and is backed off. I think it's going to retest that zone around 835. If it fails, we could see low 30s. Dave & Buster's continues lower. It's acting very well. That's a box is short from that bear coil right there. It's been rolling over today, another $1.09 down. It looks to me like it's headed towards the juxtaposition there, about 43 for starters. Sally Beauty, SPH, right down to a triple bottom. It feels like it's going to break, and if it does, 15.5 and 13.5 for targets. And finally tonight, good old SIG. Looks like that broke its wedge too. It may be headed lower as well. Today down 250 or 4%. I would look for this one to have a difficult time. Test the 47.49 zone. If it breaks that one, you know where we're headed. Probably around mid to high 30s. Folks, that's the long and short of it tonight. Everyone have a good evening. Let's make some money tomorrow. TGIF.